I'm bringing sexy back. Bringing DUIs back is what he's bringing. Oh my goodness. Justin Timberlake arrested in my neck of the woods for DWI, Sag Harbor, right where your old pal Ant used to broadcast on the radio. Oh my goodness. We'll cover that story, of course. And we have a whole bunch of other items to go over and discuss. Including the 10 Commandments bill that was just passed down in Louisiana. This is crazy surprising that we're still trying to pull off these dumb, archaic, crazy, dumb, archaic, crazy laws. We're still trying after all this time. And the last big story, the Boeing CEO was grilled in front of Congress, rightfully so, because he has made all kinds of mistakes during his tenure as CEO of that insane corporation. And now we're at a point where he's got to answer for it. And he went in front of Congress and did just that. Plus, George Santos is on OnlyFans. So if you thought this episode wasn't going to be silly at all, you thought wrong. Beep, 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 beep. By the way, welcome back to the Facebook community. It appears as though our little jail time over there is over, and we are back broadcasting live on Facebooks, and so happy to be doing so. So thank you to everybody who has been asking where we were, what's been going on, what's happening. We're back on the Facebooks. So thank you to everybody for your patience there. That was certainly a long journey. I was screaming and cursing at several people over the issue on Facebook, and I'm glad to see that we finally got that under control. So I appreciate that. Before we start the program, though, don't forget you can submit your cocktail of the summer 2024 right now at anthonyonair.com. We've got links up there. We've got links on all our social accounts, including Facebook. Thank you very much. And what we're doing is Erin C is compiling a list of everything that you submit, and she's going to put it into a blind top 5 game for Friday. So if you want to have your little creation be on the show, you can do that right now by submitting over there at anthonyonair.com. Or like I said, we just put out a post. So it's linked everywhere on all of our socials. So jump on over there and make sure that you, look at Miss Justice with the link in the YouTube live chat. Appreciate that as always, Miss Justice. Always super on top of things. That's why we love her. That's why she's one of the best mods in the biz. Submit your drink. Here's the thing. Could be a regular drink. Could be an espresso martini. Could be an espresso martini with your little kick to it. Like, hey, I like to add this to my martinis, Aunt. Try this. Great. Throw it in there. Could be a regular drink like a Manhattan that you just decide to come up with a funky, new, wacky name that ties into something on the show. Great. Send it in. Drop it in. Takes 5 seconds to do. And if you do it, you could be featured on Friday's episode here as we do our blind top 5 game. So Erin's going to be compiling all those items, and then she's going to fire it at us, and then we're going to have to rank it, not knowing what is coming next. And judging by the creativity of you, I am thoroughly excited to see what you come up with and just how good it's going to be. In fact, I'm terrified a little bit because I feel like we're going to be walloped big time getting Erin on this blind top 5. But I don't mind because, again, when you and I get to exchange some fun little ideas and thoughts and topics, and in this particular case, drinks, it makes me really happy. I like stuff like that. I like all that kind of stuff. Hello to everybody who's joining us in the live chat. Shout out to our helper who just got the background correct in our virtual studio. We're off and running here with the episode. Let's see. Let's start with what's on top here and the Boeing CEO. So Dave Calhoun is his name. He was up at Congress giving some testimony on what's going on over at Boeing. Of course, we've been covering this like crazy. The whistleblowers that have died, 2 most recently, 2 more have popped up. We know there's more kind of in the ether, but what we know for sure is the 2 who died, John Barnett, and the other gentleman's name escapes me at the moment, by the mystery illness, which, by the way, we got banned for on TikTok for saying that, but it's the truth. This guy had a mystery infection that killed him almost instantaneously. When else have you ever heard of something like that? When he's testifying against one of the biggest corporations in the world. And John Barnett, of course, self-inflicted gunshot wound, as the story goes, is what police have identified down in South Carolina, where he was while he was giving a deposition against Boeing. Now, why is that so important? Because during this deposition, where Dave Calhoun admitted to a lot and a lot of embarrassing things, the number one thing that he admitted to was the fact that his company, Boeing, retaliated against whistleblowers. He admitted that openly in front of Congress. I couldn't believe my ears. When I watched his whole entire testimony, and there's a lot of boringness in it, so don't worry, I'm going to break down the most important, the key takeaways here. But this being the most important, when I was watching this, my jaw dropped when he was questioned by Senator Blumenthal, and then he turns around and says, I don't know how many times people have been retaliated against in my company, but I do know it's happened. I was like, jaw on the floor. On the floor, can't believe that the CEO of Boeing is admitting to such a thing. Here, take a listen. I got the part right here where Blumenthal questions him. Here it is.
How many of your employees have been fired for retaliating against whistleblowers?
Senator, I don't have that number on the tip of my tongue, but I know it. I know it happens.
I mean, can you believe that? I know it happens. I know it happens. One of the biggest airplane makers in the world, if not the biggest, sat there in front of Congress and told us people who raise concerns for safety issues for airplanes are getting fired, are being retaliated against. Can't believe it. Almost relieved that we've got some honesty going on in the world. You know what I mean? Like it's almost a relief out of all the fucking pipsqueaks and shit weasels out there that just always just try and squeak by with their lies and their bullshit in life. It's nice to actually hear somebody admit the truth. Now, will they be held responsible? Shit, man, that's another story entirely. I don't really know. I'm not entirely sure. I hope so. That's my hope. I hope they will be. But I think this is an important first step to stand there and or sit there, I should say, and admit in front of Congress, I know it's happened. I mean, that's big. That's big because that's the start of John Barnett and everybody else not dying in vain, for what they believed in. Because you look at those guys and they're basically giving up everything. They lost their jobs. They eventually wound up dead. I mean, it's crazy what they've sacrificed for everybody else's safety because they were concerned about it. So like I said, 2 that died. We know there's 2 more because the lawyer that represented John Barnett and the other whistleblower is representing 2 more. And while we found that out, and we reported this on a previous podcast, which, by the way, you should be subscribing if you're into this kind of content. If you don't want to die on an airplane, if you're trying to go visit family and you don't want to fall out of the sky or have the door go flying open, important, make sure you're subscribed because we talked about this on a previous podcast. It's important to do that. We know that there's more. They were fielding more calls when they had the other 2 whistleblowers, the 2 new whistleblowers, dealing with the lawyer there. So that was an important podcast. Again, subscribe. Big. It's just big. It's just big all around, and hopefully the start of getting things in order down there with Boeing, because you can't fuck around with this stuff. I mean, this is people's lives. Speaking of which, there was this like crazy chilling moment where, because when you go and you testify on Capitol Hill, sometimes there's a big public space behind and people can come and sit, and they invited the family members of victims who died in 2 Boeing 737 MAX plane crashes. And those families at one point held up huge poster size photographs of their loved ones who died in the crash. And Dave Calhoun stood up and turned around and looked right at them and apologized to them. Now, you might say that his words were empty, because they kind of were. He said, and I quote here, "I'd like to speak directly to those who lost loved ones on Lion Air Flight 610 and Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302. I want to personally apologize on behalf of everyone at Boeing. We are deeply sorry for your losses. Nothing is more important than safety of the people who step on board our airplanes. Every day we seek to honor the memory of those lost through a steadfast commitment to safety and quality." Sounds nice, it really sounds nice. But the fact of the matter is, 5 minutes later, he's up there admitting, oh, yeah, we fire people for raising safety concerns. Well, this is a nice apology and all, but all these people are dead. Where was this mentality in you prior to this? Day one on the job, you should have been having a little meeting, little Teams meeting. Send out a little Zoom meeting, speak to everybody and say, hey, let's put the profits aside and let's make sure nobody dies on our watch. Let's make that the goal, because we know we're going to make money. I mean, it's not like Walmart's out there making planes. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to make money. We made what the difference between making this much money and this much money, I think we could put that aside for general safety of our people. Maybe. I don't know. That would be a nice little thing to do, I think. No, he didn't do that. And that's what you should be doing. I'm no CEO. I'm no CEO of an airline. I mean, over a plane manufacturing company. But on day one, I think I'd gather everybody around and say, hey, here's goal number 1 for us. Goal number 1. Do we have other goals? Yep. They'll all be in smaller lettering underneath goal number 1 on all the posters hung in all the work areas. Let's keep people from dying. That's it. Let's try and get the least amount of deaths possible. That's what the goal is. Whatever you need to do to finagle is great. If goal number 1 screws with goals 2 through 400, that's okay. Goal number 1 is important. That's what every CEO in that position should be doing. Clearly, he didn't do that. So to stand there up at Congress and give that apology, I give him a little credit, because that's a tough thing to do. But at the same time, you take your medicine, because those people lost family members, and you've been fucking up in this job since day one. Since day one. He also said that he hasn't spoken directly with any of the whistleblowers. Again, I find that to be a problem, because, in my time, I've read a couple of books, about business. And, when I was in college, I had I went to, little known fact, I went to college for sports management. That's how I wound up in radio, by the way. You want to wind up in a loser career, go to pick a loser fucking degree. But anyway, sports management was kind of like the business side of sports, and you could do anything: the agent, law, media relations, and media relations is what I got into, and that's how I eventually wound up at the radio. But the point of bringing this up is I had a business minor with sports management, because it was like one elective that I had to take to get a business minor. I'm like, oh, let me get that in case sports management doesn't work out. So I had to study a lot of, we read a lot of books on business and CEOs and all that. And I've read countless books of CEOs of huge corporations giving out email addresses and phone numbers and telling the entire company, anybody can give me a call at any time Anybody can get. I remember there was this one CEO who told his administrative staff, if anybody from any of our, I forget what it was something that was a lot of stores, maybe a PC Richard or like a Best Buy or something like that. And he said, if anybody at any moment, at any time, comes up here and wants to speak to me, who works here, you let them in. No matter what, you let them in. I don't care if I'm meeting with the board. I don't care if my family is here. He's like, whatever it is, you buzz me, you let me know they're here. He's like, I might not be able to run and get them right away. They might have to wait a little bit, but I want it. Don't just say, oh, he's busy or he's in a meeting or he's in a conference call. He's like, no. I say, I want to speak to everybody. That's a fucking CEO. You know what I'm saying? That's a CEO of integrity. To say, hey, even the lowliest low person on the totem pole can pick up the phone or shoot me an email and tell me what's going on. That's how you have full and utter transparency. And you know what happens when you start to get 2 or 3 or 5 or 7 phone calls from different people about so-and-so who is stifling safety concerns? That's how you procure safety. So that's a big part of it. The CEO, you know, anybody should be able to reach the CEO or somebody important. I mean, anybody who has a job who goes, who does sexual harassment training. I don't know if this is like this in every state, but in New York, you got to do it every single year. I mean, transparency and the ability to go above the person, your supervisor, is super important. Super important. You know, so the fact that he's never spoke to any of these people is rather disgusting. He was also grilled on how much he makes. This is going to make you sick. He makes $32.8 million. The CEO of Boeing makes $32.8 million. They discussed what or the amount of money that the staff makes and what the raises were. And in general, the company of Boeing had like anywhere from a 2 to 4% increase in pay over the last year. He had a 40% increase in pay. That is fucking ridiculous. The fact that you've had plane crashes, whistleblowers, you've been investigated by the FAA and found guilty of, you know, all these safety concerns, and then you go ahead and give yourself a 40% raise. Leadership is dead in this country. It makes me sick. Honestly, you could find pockets of leadership these days, but en masse, it is nowhere near where it used to be. And it's fucking disgusting. And it's everywhere, from our businesses to our politicians. Like, pure leadership sucks. It just sucks. I don't understand how a leader of a company can give themselves a 40% raise and watch their staff get 4%. I mean, even the shittiest person could be like, hey, why don't you shave 10% off mine, spread that around so they get a little bit more, and I'll take 30%. Like, I mean, who wouldn't be like, hey, give me the same percentage raise that everybody else is getting? We're so fucking concerned with profit here that we're willing to risk people's lives on our airplanes, but I'm going to take a 40% increase? It's insanity. It's absolutely insanity. There's been a lot of reports that there's been a brain drain over at Boeing. When the pandemic hit, they said there was a lot of early retirements, and the fact that the younger generation coming in wasn't properly trained is part of a problem that Calhoun admitted. You know, he said, quote, this relates so much to untrained workforce. Huh? What? I mean, this ain't an Arby's. It's a fucking airplane company. You know what I'm saying? You give the high school kid from Arby's a couple of weeks to get his shit together on how to make the French fries right. You can't be fooling around with that when it comes to airplanes. It's kind of an important thing. Also, Arby's is important. This coming from somebody who just had really bad food poisoning just 5 days ago. Calhoun said that throughout his testimony, not all incidents involving a Boeing plane can be traced to Boeing. He emphasized that Boeing and all industry stakeholders work together when something goes wrong to figure out what happened to ensure that it doesn't happen again. I've spoken about this too. There's other companies that make plenty of parts for Boeing airplanes that are under investigation as well, and they need to be held to the same accounts because it's ridiculous, if you're doing any of this stuff. And, JSABS, our own JSABS, kind of brushed up against this because she used to work for a company that makes parts for airplanes and shit like that. And she's, we talk about this Boeing stuff, and she's like, I'm not surprised by this at all. Not surprised by this whatsoever. And that is fucking scary. Like I made for the members only. By the way, if you're not a member, make sure you join. Link in the description below. It's $2.99 a month, the lowest level. You could absolutely pay more. We totally appreciate that. It helps us pull off all the expenses that we need to make the podcast happen here. So if you haven't joined yet, please I swear to you, $2.99 will definitely help us. I was throwing some content in there in our week off for the members area because that's what you get. You get exclusive content, you get behind the scenes stuff, you get some of my family stuff, shit like that. So I put a picture when we got on the plane to go on vacation, and I made the joke like, it's a Boeing plane. But no joking aside, like I asked the front desk person before we even got on the plane. I go, oh, what kind of equipment are we on here? Because I watch Catch Me If You Can. I know not to ask what plane is this. I go, what kind of equipment are we on here? That's what the pilots, cool people do. And she said to me, what the fuck are you talking about? So I said, what kind of plane are we going to be on today? And she said, oh, it's an Airbus, whatever number she said. And I was like, oh, thank God. I was like, we have a shot at making it. And she's like, well, to be fair, it's still a Frontier plane. So I was like, yeah, it's a good point. I did pay $29.99 to get to Florida. It seems like I should perfectly accept a crash landing somewhere along the way. I hate to sound like a jerk, but I mean, if you're paying $400 or $500, $1,000 for first class, you want to be there. If you're paying $29.99, you should expect to have to dig out the plane if it gets, if it gets stuck in on its way to the runway. That's just part of the process. It's part of the savings, as they like to say. So that's the Boeing CEO. Hopefully, he rots in hell, takes a pay cut, and has to answer for his actions. I mean, come on. Listen, this fucking company is in shambles. I mean, anybody can see this any lay person could see this by just peeking from the outside in. And he's given himself a 40% raise and sitting up there at Congress, like answering these questions like he's going to be fine and he's going to walk away from all of this. Cut that motherfucker, man. Get somebody in there that knows how to be a leader in an industry where it is super important that zero mistakes happen. Again, I've talked about this before. Like I put myself through college working at the airport. And one of the things that we had to do was, if we were driving out on the tarmac, we had to pick up any little bit of litter, anything. And there were times where I pick up we would have, I would drive the tugs, right? There's like a little tug, cart there that pulls the carts that has like the cargo on it and the baggage and all that kind of stuff. And to hook those things up, there would be these like metal, it'd be like a ring, and then you'd put like a metal thing into it. And sometimes those metal things would just be laying out on the tarmac. And could you imagine driving by that and being like, I'm late. Got to get home. No, you stop and you pick them up. You don't want that shit being picked. I know you're saying it's heavy. It's not, no, but the fucking jet air engine, it could get picked up and cause some serious damage that they may not realize or know or discover until much later when it's way too late. I mean, who wants that on their conscience? And I can't rehash it. I've talked about this before. Then people know about it. So I don't want to repeat the stories for all our good pals who are here for every episode. They don't want to be hearing the same stuff over and over again. But we appreciate you. If you're here and you're new, like I said, subscribe and become a member. It's definitely a big help. All right. Right here in my old neck of the woods in the Hamptons, Justin Timberlake was arrested for DWI. I think it's DWI. Sag Harbor is one of the hamlets, if you will, right in the Hamptons where I used to work. So a couple of radio stations I've worked for over the course of my career, And the very last one I worked for is a legendary radio station in Sag Harbor called WLNG. And it's literally, you can throw a baseball from where that, I mean, you'd have to have a really good arm, but you can hit it. It's a 2-minute drive. You can throw a baseball from where that radio station was right to the spot where Justin Timberlake was drinking. It's a restaurant called the American Hotel. And coincidentally, in an odd and bizarre set of circumstances, Billy Joel was having lunch there today. And that was the big story of Billy Joel was eating at the American Hotel while everybody was, everybody in the streets was out there doing their reports. And of course, Billy Joel walks out. They're going to ask him. All right, Jason.
Oh, well,
you
know, I had to come in for this. I actually was listening backstage. And since I don't want my name to be tied to Boeing and all, I'm going to pass out of that conversation.
Because you want to fly still.
Also because, well, I want to fly. I don't want to die or mysteriously disappear or have some kind of rash. I also signed an NDA at one point too. So, I mean, whatever. Who listens to this anyway? Come on. Kidding.
I said that you kind of brushed up against this. Did you hear that part?
I did, but I'm in end of the school year hell.
Okay. I just didn't want to get you in any kind of trouble. That's all.
No, I'm kidding. I won't.
Okay.
I won't get in trouble.
Okay, good.
I'll just disappear.
Just be gone one day.
Yeah, that's it. It's fine.
We won't tell if you're leaving an episode or if you're being kidnapped. We'll have no idea. It'll be just the same.
Well, I have a fantasy about being kidnapped, so.
You're too much. Anyway, so all right, you want to jump in or do you want me to lay it out and then you jump in?
You lay it out.
Okay. So, all right. So Justin Timberlake arrested for DWI coming from the American Hotel. And what I was saying is Billy Joel was there today eating lunch, and everybody, of course, is out there getting photos and doing their live spots on the TV news. So Billy Joel comes walking out, and they asked him for a reaction, and he was very nice about it. He said, I don't know him, so I don't want to comment, and gave a little, those who live in glass houses don't throw stones bit, because ironically, in 2003,
yep,
he was in the same place and got drunk and hit a fucking tree. So,
yep.
So I don't want to shit on the American Hotel because I do enjoy going there, but I like to overserve the celebs a little bit. It seems.
A little bit.
They're 0 for 2 on celeb pouring. Let's just say that.
Right.
But it is a beautiful spot. I will say, Sag Harbor is one of the most gorgeous places on the planet.
Okay. Can I just tell you something?
Please.
Been there twice only. It's so nice. Like, I never knew how nice it actually was.
Yeah.
So we ate there, and it's like on the water. It was near 4th of July, so there's fireworks. There was like like a boat parade. I don't know. It was something very strange. Lots of swingers there. Lots. Not judging.
Okay.
But, it was really nice. You like it too, right?
It was my favorite. In fact, I was so miserable at WLNG. So fucking miserable. I hated it there. But I loved being in Sag Harbor. That was like the best part about it. Like, I really didn't mind being there, and being there in the summer. So being there in the winter was great, but being there in the summer is unbelievable because there would just be these, 200-foot yachts.
Yep. I was going to say, fun fact about me. Sorry, I'm cutting you off.
No.
I love to look at yachts. Love it.
I didn't know that.
In fact, if there is a dock anywhere near where I am, I like to go look at them. I like to go look at the yachts.
I didn't know that. That's
Like,
amazing.
that's one of my like hobbies to do. It's weird. And meanwhile, my husband's like, "Let's go," and I'm like, "Look at this fucking boat."
Then Sag Harbor is your Playboy Mansion because it literally doesn't get any better than
I
that.
know.
You know. Well, I was just in Fort Lauderdale, and that's like another they call that the yacht capital of the world.
Yes.
And we passed by some pretty big boats down there. But what's crazy impressive about Sag Harbor is it's very strange because you drive. There's this big, beautiful dock.
Yes.
Not dock, but what would you say? Like a wharf, I guess you would say. I think it was wharf.
I would say it's hard because, like, when you think of dock, you think of like an old dingy thing, but it's not like that. You know, it's hard to say. I guess wharf, but I don't like that word. But I like, yeah, you're right. It's wharf. Ugh.
Yeah. So you just like kind of like drive out there. So it's weird because you could like park on it. And you could literally just like pull your car up and then just have this huge, just ginormous yacht like right there.
It's weird.
It's so like I did the U.S. Open. What was that in 2018? And Tiger Woods. So most of the golfers like would rent a house. Some of the lesser profitable golfers, they had like the lower class golfers still had these like those huge buses that were like customized and, you know, like tour buses.
Right.
That are still like, you know, 300 grand a piece, you know, they would get those and they would park in there. So everybody kind of like that was their setup. But Tiger Woods drove his yacht up and parked it in Sag Harbor and then took a helicopter from his yacht to the golf course every single day to play in the Open, which was insane. That was kind of insane to hear. Now I have to thank Fly NY for gifting an Anthony on Air membership. That's amazing.
Oh, that's nice.
Now I know you can gift memberships to other people, but I don't know how does that work? How do they get it? Does anybody know? I know I should probably know, but I don't.
Only a show. That's all right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but Fly NY, if you purchased a membership for somebody, that is very generous of you, and thank you for doing that. That's tremendous. Also want to give a big shout out to Fly NY for throwing a $5 super sticker in there as well.
Oh.
Fly NY just being a big dog today. Speaking of big dogs, how about Big Bird with 27 months as a member on her 38th birthday. That's amazing. That's amazing. Wow. I don't know what's more amazing, 38 years on this planet or 27 months with us. I feel like both are very tough. Both can be excruciating at times.
Right.
But happy birthday, Bird. Thank you for being a member for so long. That's extraordinary. We're so gracious and grateful.
Ow! Ow! Yeah. I can't believe you stuck with it. Ow!
So thanks, Fly NY. I don't know how to give away that membership or how anybody can get it, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. I'm sure Miss Justice or somebody. YouTube decides randomly who gets it. Interesting. Okay. All right, cool. So maybe when somebody goes to become a member, there's an option there to get a gifted one. That would be tremendous. That would be amazing. So thank you so much for that, Fly NY. That's extraordinary. I only wish Fly NY was running Boeing because then I feel like they'd have a fucking chance. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
All right. Where were we? Oh, so Justin Timberlake. Yeah. So the American Hotel. So where did you eat when you were there in SAG?
Oh man,
There's so many good restaurants.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to look it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
All right.
Maybe it was there. No, I don't think they've been open that long, right? There.
No, no. American Hotel's been around for a really long time. Yeah, really, really long time. It's beautiful. It's right. It's literally. It's like an old building. It's like right on Main Street. The Main Street for Sag Harbor is gorgeous because like it just goes right up to the water and the wharf, and then you break off to the right, and the left is like a bridge, and then the right is just like more waterfront, and there's a beautiful park over there, and they're doing so much work to it. I haven't been there since I left LNG, but I tell Cuddles all the time. I'm like, when we hit a nice day just to go take a ride out there.
Yeah, I know. How far is it from you, would you say?
From me, I swear to God, it's still about probably a half hour.
Oh,
40
that's
minutes.
nothing. That's
Yeah.
nothing. That's pretty good.
In the summertime, 2.5 hours. But now,
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I think it was about a half hour it used to take me to get there, which wasn't too bad.
What's that donut place that's there?
Oh yeah, Grindstone.
Grindstone, right?
Great donuts. Grindstone, and then I tell you, there's 2 or 3 like incredible coffee shops.
Yes. What's the other one that's that? I know which one it is.
I have to go. I can't remember shit anymore. I don't know anything.
You're old.
It's gone. Everything is gone from me, Jay Sams. But it was a great time. Like I used to talk. I've said this before on the show. I used to be on the air, and I'd given up on everything. I just didn't give a shit anymore. And so I would put on like Meatloaf, and I would put on like Rosalita. I put on like 4 11-minute songs back to back, and I would get in the car and I would go and get ice cream on Main Street. I would fucking walk around.
Would you really?
I swear to God, yeah, because I just hated it. I just couldn't stand it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, nobody gave a shit. I was on the air for like 6 hours. It was way too long. Like a show is 4 hours max. You can't do 6. It's impossible. But
No.
they forced me to do 6, so I was like, all right, fuck you. I'm gonna go get ice cream, and that's what I would do. Like, I would sit outside and smoke cigars, you know, while the station was just playing. You know,
That's great.
didn't make a difference. It was weird though, because like every radio station, literally every radio station except for this one, you could record stuff and it'll play. Like they call it voice tracking. So, you know, like even when I was on EHM, like I would like voice track a couple of things if I had to leave early or do something, and it sounded like you were still there in the studio, even though you weren't. But LNG refused to put this in place. They refused to do this because they were like an oldies station and they want to like remain pure and all that. So
butthole.
Yeah, so that's why I had to stack like 5 7-minute songs together. And I was like, I wonder, you know, I'm like, oh, if this is so important, I wonder if anybody's going to know. Nobody ever fucking noticed or cared.
Right.
Nobody gave a shit. So, yeah. So anyway, so we're talking about Sag Harbor, not Justin Timberlake enough. So Justin Timberlake gets arrested Sunday night into Monday morning. Are you okay? Are you digging a hole or something? What's happening over there?
Hold on. I'm gonna turn my camera on. But oh wait, I don't know how to. Here.
I wish you would put some clothes on. This is I'm looking at a lot of green. Can I put this on the air or no?
Yeah.
It's just for me. It's you too.
No, you can put it on the air.
Okay. It's a lot of green and blue. What are you doing here? This looks like, what is this? What's happening?
This is end of the school year gifts thingies. It's ice cream bowls, little personalized ice cream bowls. I'm writing their names on, and I'm putting candy in and summer stickers. I'm such a fucking asshole. There you go.
My God. What? Nobody's going to want to own that.
I know.
What are you doing?
Why am I doing? It's for the kids in my daughter's class. That's what it was for. Both of their classes, actually. So. Are
you going to put ice cream in it when you give it to them? Because if not, you're going to lose them. I'm telling you right now, they're not going to care.
No, I'm putting them in. No, they're going to see candy and stickers, and they're going to be like, "Okay, sign me up."
Also, was that a huge bottle of empty liquor on the end of the table there?
It's not empty.
Okay.
It's Breckenridge rum cask finish.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Timberlake.
No, he only had one martini. Go ahead.
Oh, that was the best part. All right, so he leaves the American Hotel. He gets pulled over, and he claims he only had one martini.
Yeah, okay.
And people who, every news outlet, I can't give anybody credit here, but people who were there said that he was completely wasted.
Right.
He also has a little bit of a history of drinking too much.
with his old pal Jimmy Fallon.
Maybe, allegedly, supposedly. So anyway, so this is pretty huge news. So they released did you see the mugshot of his?
I did not.
Okay. So mugshots are usually like the face, the head.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's basically it. And he was all glassy-eyed and everything. Your old pal Ant has a pal on the police force over there at Sag Harbor, and I was able to get a full, more complete photo, the full shot.
You're lying.
No, swear to God.
Let me say it.
Swear to God. You want to see it? I'm going to put it up on the screen for everybody to see. This is Justin Timberlake in the prison right here.
You're such an ass.
That's it. That's it. There he is.
Oh, God, I hate
Courtesy of the Sag Harbor. I can't say Sag Harbor PD because then my friend will get arrested or fired. But, he looks sexy. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't lying. There's one martini there. There's a beer, too.
Oh, man. I don't know what is in these paint markers, but it's making me a little high.
You getting fucked up?
Yeah, it's a little... Woo!
You getting a little Justin Timberlake?
Right. A little Justin Timberlake. Right.
Hey, it looks good there. I don't, pulling it off.
Right. Well...
Is Sexy back? Did he accomplish his goal? I don't...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Oops, sorry.
It's like a crash landing. I don't know what's happening. Are you opening up a Skittles bag? Or what are you doing?
I'm opening up the bag the ice cream bowls came in.
Ah, okay.
Listen, I'm multitasking. You're lucky I'm here for this.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful you're here.
I definitely... Well, first of all, I had the best fucking memes that I put up on my Instagram, which I usually don't share unless something's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I was dying at the ones that I had.
I didn't see. Can I tell you something? I got this. I'm glad you brought this up because I want to do a new segment on this podcast called The Internet's Best Jokes.
Oh, mine are going to win. Go ahead.
And we're going to make this a thing. But I will say, it's been a while since I've seen basically 4 to 5 jokes come out around an event and be so repeated and stolen and regifted than this Justin Timberlake arrest thing.
Right.
Because out of all, like they were all, I saw them and then I saw 14 other people do them as well.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Most notably when am I going to get my license back? It's going to be May. That one. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I know. That one did I share that one?
All right, well, get your Instagram. Can I go to your Instagram? No, I can't go to your Instagram.
Yes, you can.
I can?
Yeah, I don't care.
Because I want to see these alleged jokes that you are knocking out of the park here. Are we friends on Instagram? We shouldn't be.
Oh my God, that's it.
I thought I blocked you.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
All right. Nobody wants to hear you count out fucking. What's your name on Instagram? I don't even. Oh, wait. I got it. All right. All right. Let me see here. Where is it? First of all, who's this hot girl that you put up in? What is this? Oh, Real Talk? Oh, is this your other podcast? I don't want to see this.
No. It came up in my stories. It's in my stories.
No, but we're beyond that. Who's the hot Spanish broad on your last post?
I cannot switch. So I don't even know what that is.
It says Real Talk, Women of the Week live.
Oh, that's my friend. You don't know her.
How come I never met her?
She's not Spanish.
Why are you keeping her from me?
She's
what
Italian.
I want to know. Oh, she's Italian?
Yep.
Listen, don't ruin the thing I got going on in my head right now.
Oh,
Let's keep her Spanish.
Oh, my God.
Shout out.
Because I'm about to text her.
No, don't do that. I'll get in trouble. Shout out to Lindy for the super sticker. I appreciate that so much, Lindy. Thank you so much. Maybe I'll introduce you to this hot Spanish/Italian girl that Janine is hiding from us and doing a podcast with. All right, let me see here. Let me go to your stories. I see one story that is a quote from your daughter.
Oh, then I had more last night. Don't tell me they expired.
Yeah, they're gone. These only last 24 hours, right?
No, I shared it like last night.
Not on Instagram.
Man, well, oh well.
All right, can I say what your daughter said?
What?
I guess
Yes.
someone just took a shower outside, and you responded by saying, "Why would you think that?" And she said, "Because I just saw someone's large nipples with no shirt." Do I need to call Child Protective Services on you?
No.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, hold on. Hold on.
Are you bringing up the? Can I show this hot broad who you're keeping from me?
No.
Oh, that was close. I almost hit the button to put her on. Do you know her like personally? Like I might run into her.
I know her personally.
She
No,
going to be at the thing with the guy and the people in the other place?
No.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you, Lindy, for the sticker. I appreciate that. A lot of generosity on this episode. That doesn't. That's very much so appreciated. Like I can't believe. Like I'm watching J-Sabs on another podcast right now. Doesn't mention. Doesn't say anything. Oh my god! And I just realized you're on video on this podcast. What the fuck?
This was from a long time ago.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. October of 20. Oh, this is like last year. Why don't you post on Instagram anymore?
You know what? I don't know why. I get lazy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Not when it comes to counting cups on a podcast, though. You're pretty on the ball with that one.
Yeah, right.
All right. So anyway, Justin Timberlake. So back to Justin Timberlake. He gets arrested. Then he tries to pull the "I'm Justin Timberlake" card, and the cop who arrested him was like 2 weeks on the job, has no clue who the hell Justin Timberlake is. That's hilarious and also insulting to people my age all at the same time. Because we're just sitting there going, serves you right, you fucking celebrity piece of shit, driving around drunk, getting everybody in danger. And then you're also like, fuck, the young cop is too young for Justin Timberlake. I mean, he's still out there selling arenas out and shit like that. You know, so it's like, how fucking old am I? And the answer is so fucking old. But the cop took no for an answer. He wasn't going for any of it. Timberlake refused a breathalyzer 3 times, and they still hauled his ass in. And I'll say this too. What's crazy about the Hamptons is... Are you writing with a Sharpie?
You could hear that. Oops,
Yes.
I didn't know I was on.
What's crazy about the Hamptons is it doesn't matter who you are. They don't give a shit. They will arrest your ass for anything. Like I was telling this to, I was talking about this. Obviously, this is like the talk of the area, right? So I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and I was in another part of the Hamptons that's bad. There's a few parts of the Hamptons that are super bad. Sag Harbor for cops. Sag Harbor, Amagansett, and West Hampton. I was in West Hampton. I took my parents out for dinner. It was me, Cuddles, and my parents. We went out for dinner, took them out for a nice dinner. We're coming out of dinner, and this was in December. So it was winter, quiet, nobody's around, not the hubbub of the Hamptons. I stop at a stop sign. I go on. Cop pulls me over. Lower the windows, do the whole thing. What's going on? Cop goes, you didn't stop at the stop sign. I was like, I thought I did. And they're like, and then she goes, you didn't really stop long enough. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry I didn't stop long enough for you. I thought I pretty much came to a stop. I'm like, it's December. There's 5 people in the whole entire village. I thought I covered it, you know, with my pause and my looking around and no other cars coming. But they are crazy nasty. When I worked at WLNG, I got pulled over at least 4 or 5 times, at least, because I would
Did
go.
you
above-
really?
Yeah, because I would go because the speed limit's like 35 miles an hour.
So I was going to
Gosh.
ask if they have a speed limit there, and like, do they really enforce it? Because I know of another town that does that.
Dude, it's insane. And there's a stretch of road, one sag fuck, I can't remember the name of it now. Anyway, there's a stretch of road where you're literally like you're in between Bridgehampton and Sag Harbor. You're in between two towns, and it's just forest. You're just driving through forest. It's a highway. The speed limit should be 55, 60, and it's fucking 35. And so
Yeah,
I
that's
would
crazy.
always get pulled over there. Always.
Mhm.
And then you get into town and they don't even warn you that the speed limit goes down to like 25. So it's like, it's like if you didn't know where to stop, you were always getting nailed. And I don't know, the cop, that's how, I don't know. They love to pull people over. So you really cannot drive drunk in the Hamptons. A trillion years ago, Janine, your brother got pulled over.
Did he?
Yeah, when he came out to visit me when I first came out here, all the guys came out. We had a big like weekend, and your brother got pulled over driving home from one of the because if you come out of one of the clubs in the Hamptons at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, you're gonna get pulled over. They're just out there sitting there waiting for you to pull you over for drunk driving.
Right.
That's it.
And
So-
did he get a ticket?
No, your brother didn't, because our cop friend was with us, and that's where the famous "I'm a police officer" came,
Oh,
because he was drunk in the back, and he pretty much got us out of that ticket that time.
I've never seen him drunk, ever.
Oh yeah, I used to be. When we went to the Vineyard out in the Hamptons, wasn't everybody was drunk that day?
Exactly, because I don't remember it.
No, that's right. So but you've been in his presence when he's drunk, but you've been too drunk to remember it. Got it.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, no. The thing we don't speak about.
That makes sense. That checks out. I feel for his wife, Jessica Biel.
Yeah, well, they said he has a drinking problem, so.
Yeah.
You believe that?
And are you working for Boeing right now? Is that what you're doing? Do you know everything you're doing is super loud?
Is it? Sorry.
You've got to go back and listen to this portion of the podcast.
They're going to kill me.
Yeah.
Am I getting killed in the comments?
Not particularly, but I just got a DM from somebody on Facebook, and they're not too pleased.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Anyway,
Don't worry, I won't be here long.
Okay. What was I saying? Oh, Jessica Biel. I saw a clip somebody put together, like a supercut of her, because she's in New York. Filming a show, and so she's doing like a whole bunch of press, and she was on The View and a couple of other shows, and she was talking about how crazy his little tour is that he's on right now. And she was like, we got a newborn. I guess they have maybe not a newborn, but like a 1 or 2 year old or whatever. And she's like, I'm just worried about him, just want him to get some rest and make sure he relaxes and gets some time off. And we got a new baby and we got to spend time with the baby. And, it's like, it's tough. We just had the baby. We're both out working. She's like, we've never had 2 kids and we're both off doing something. It's kind of a stressful time. And this fucking jackass goes and gets arrested for drunk driving.
You just reminded me of something. So, my ex-boss owned a few restaurants with him. That Southern Hospitality. Remember he had that in the city?
Yeah.
And another one. And he was good friends with him. Like, I saw his name in his phone. Like, they're friends. Like, they have each other's numbers. I'm gonna message him. I'm gonna be like, what did he do? That's exactly right. And he's gonna be like, oh, he's probably gonna be like, I was waiting for you to message me, Janine. Watch.
You should message him.
I should.
See if he'll come on. Do you want to get him on this podcast or the other one that you host with other people that you go on camera with?
Probably the other one.
Yeah, I would say the other one too. It's safer bet.
I got paid for the other one. That's why. Just kidding. I didn't.
Yeah, but I feel for her. Like she just did a week of press going, "Oh, my husband, my husband, my husband." Then he goes out and she's got a baby too, and she's a new baby, and she's working and shit like that. Like he really looks like a stupid piece of shit.
Yeah, he does.
It's kind of bull. I have to tell you, you're gonna call me a pussy. I know you are.
Okay, let's go.
If I was working, if I was doing a lot, and I've done this, but if I was working and I had a free Sunday night,
Pussy.
I don't know if I would go. First of all, my friends wouldn't answer the phone if I called. That's
Right.
the first
Look,
thing.
I was just gonna say, don't even say that your friends won't even go with you.
Yeah.
Because that's true.
Wouldn't happen. But I don't know if I could be like, oh, I'm gonna go out drinking with the fellas and not be home with the kids in the little time that you have away. I'm realizing that people are very, very different from what I grew up in, and I think what Janine grew up in too, because I feel like that family bit kind of takes precedent over going out and drinking. Maybe not when you're 21 and to 29, but even when you're single in your 30s, I feel like, all right, we'll stick around and watch the kids, watch the niece, watch the whatever. You kind of sacrifice those nights out to take care of the kids.
Yeah, I have done that. Not with my own, but with my nieces, yeah.
No, it's true though. Like you're on a big tour and you're doing all this stuff, and you get like one night, like go be with your children. No, listen, it's different for you. How old are your kids now? 6 and whatever.
Right, because I'm like, as you're talking, I'm thinking about the summer and being with them all summer long.
Yeah, but that's different.
Okay.
We were with them also. If you were gone, if you went away, first of all, you go away for a week without them. When you come back, would you then go out again, or would you just be with your kids?
You're asking someone. Nope, sorry. You're asking someone who survived being home during the pandemic with them. Okay.
Yeah, but you were there. That's what I'm saying. If you're not around for long periods of time, you would go right back.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. It sounds like you're cutting some construction paper, so I'll let you get back.
Wait, you can hear me cutting too?
Yes, I don't think you understand how loud everything is around you.
I'll be gone soon.
Well, that's all I got on Timberlake. You got anything else?
Well, supposedly they were saying he does have a drinking problem, and that's the reason he was like kind of MIA for a few years.
Oh, really?
Because he didn't really know how to control his drinking. I'm gonna ask my good friend over there and see what he says. I mean, he's not gonna tell me, but maybe, because he told me he was having a kid before it came out. I knew that.
Oh, look at you
I
getting
did know that.
scoops.
So,
well, you could throw some of those our way. That would be nice. Fucking.
that was a long time ago. The kid's like, God, he's probably like 8 or 9 now. The first one.
Nobody's really talking about this, and we didn't talk about it either because it's pretty much unfounded. But there was a big buzz a couple of weeks ago about his illegitimate child coming out saying that he molested her.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard anything about that lately? Because I haven't heard a peep from that person, who I'm pretty sure is definitely lying.
I haven't, but I don't know too much about that. So who knows?
It is kind of weird, wacky timing, though.
Yeah, right.
Also, the other weird thing is, they were making fun of him for dancing like terribly and being a little overweight, just not even, I don't know, like a month or two ago. I feel like
overweight him.
Yeah, he was like a little chunky, and he was doing a dance, and it was like another big meme explosion of like, oh, fat white guy dancing kind of a thing. Like he didn't have it anymore,
Aw. Yeah, well.
Oh, see, this is good. Cry me a river, more like call me an Uber.
That's actually pretty good. Who
See,
said
that's
that?
you should make that a song, Bri. That's a fucking. You got a little hook right there. That's it. See, everybody Flying Y likes it.
Right.
That's a fucking good one.
That is a
Little,
good one.
little falsetto. Call me an Uber. That's good. That's fucking good. I wish I would have came up with that. All I came up with is a stupid Photoshop. Yeah, I wonder if he does have. Well, this is clearly not good. But the weird thing is, call a fucking Uber. Like everybody, Brian's right. Everybody's been saying it though. Like you've got $1 trillion. Call a fucking. There's Ubers all. By the way, here there's fancy. You have a hard time getting a regular Uber here.
Yeah, it's true.
It's that Uber
XL.
Yeah, that's the fucking fancy ones are out here.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
spoke to one of those dudes. He was like, I got fucking 3 Ubers going. And I'm like, what do you do for a living? He goes, I have 3 Ubers going. I'm like, that's all you do? He's like, yep.
Yeah,
He's like,
that's
I
weird.
have 3 cars. And I didn't understand. He drove one, he drove the big one, and he had 2 other guys driving the other ones. I don't know how that works because I thought you had to work directly with Uber. I thought you couldn't get, wasn't like a medallion thing, but I don't know. He had them all rolling out there. Yeah.
Okay.
And Brian, so Brian's a guy, Brian I did radio with in Tag. Summertime Ubers are in full effect. I don't know what's happening, and maybe Brian can talk to this. The last 3 weeks. So here's what happens in the Hamptons. Memorial Day occurs. The entire island of Manhattan comes out to the Hamptons. It's insane. You can't go anywhere. It's ridiculous. And then the day after Memorial Day, it's a ghost town again. And then slowly over the next couple of weeks, it builds up back to July 4th when it gets crazy busy. And then in the Hamptons from July 4th to Labor Day, it's insane. This year, for whatever reason, the little quiet slow down time in June hasn't really occurred. It's still like insane out here. I don't know why. I can't explain it, but like all the restaurants are packed all the time. There's traffic everywhere. You know, maybe it was 50 Cent doing the Montauk pop up on Memorial Day weekend that got it started. Everybody's out here waiting for 50. I don't know. Maybe it was that. I'm not sure. But I hope you learned a valuable lesson on the show today that if you want to see a celebrity, especially a drunk one, just camp outside that American hotel in Sag Harbor. You got a good shot of coming across one. In fact, I got nervous when I saw Billy Joel doing TV interviews coming out of the American hotel because I thought, holy shit, he's got to be fucking sloshed right now. But I think he's sober and been sober for a little while. Also a good point by Brian. Everyone's remote working. No reason to go back to the city. Even that, I felt like that slowed down a little bit last year. But you're right. Maybe that's kind of kicking back up again. When I was on vacation in Florida, there was this woman who I became a little obsessed with because she was by herself and on her laptop the entire time. Like every time I was at the pool and even the beach, there was like this resort we stayed at had like a restaurant, like a porch and everything. She was there eating. Like every time I saw her, she was just on her laptop. And I thought either she's just one of those people who just wants to be on her laptop all the time, even on vacation, or she's remote working from a resort. And I couldn't tell if that was genius or crazy. Because I don't know if I could fully relax. Like, yeah, it would be great to be like, oh, I'm at a resort and I'm working. Isn't this fun? But that's not as much fun as just being at the resort, not working. Also, you know, I mean, I guess if your boss doesn't know and doesn't care, you know, you can get a couple hours by yourself doing nothing. But, you know, most people at work have to work. Like you'll notice if somebody's missing for like 6 hours, you know, and they're like on a beach. But this girl, she ate every meal by herself, which I don't think I could do for more than a day or two. I would love 2 days by myself. Oh my God. Don't tell my wife or my children. I would love 2 days with my wife and not my children, if I can be totally honest with you. But a day, oh, that would be great. That would be just incredible. That would be Justin Timberlake. Maybe that's it. Yeah, I don't know, but that fucking laptop on the vacation, I feel like it would ruin it. You know, you're sitting there answering emails and bullshit. Who wants to be bothered with that? I would go there going, I'm going to work in this resort, and then in 3 hours, I would just lose the laptop. I would be like, I don't know, there's bad internet. I just can't seem to connect, boss. I don't know what's happening. Let's go to Louisiana. The governor of Louisiana, Jeff Landry, just signed a bill into law today that requires every single classroom at every school, not just a school, every classroom in every school in Louisiana that receives state funding from kindergarten all the way up to the university level, every one of them, they have to post a poster size document of the 10 Commandments. This is now a requirement.
What?
Yeah, this is a requirement by law in the state of Louisiana. If you get state funding from kindergarten to the university level, in every classroom, you have to display the 10 Commandments.
Yeah, no. Weird. That's weird. You know what else is weird? That I played this late.
Yeah, I know. I'm surprised you came back on for this one. There goes Jay Sabs. If you couldn't tell by how quiet it just became. I don't know what to make of this. I don't know. I'm dumbfounded. I mean, I don't know if this is a stunt because they know they're gonna. I mean, the ACLU immediately came out and was like, we're gonna sue for this. It's like, obviously, you know, obviously. So I don't know. Like, I mean, they know it's not going to stand, right? But they do it anyway. I mean, are they trying to pull it off, or I'm not entirely sure because, you know, this podcast is pretty big in America. We're also got a nice little following in Australia and all these other places. I don't know how much you know about America, but we have a thing. We have some things called the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. They're amendments. The first 10 of them we call the Bill of Rights. And we put them in order of importance. And the first one, not 3, not 4 or 5. The first one is basically keep religion out of government. That's the first one. It's number 1. It's right at the top. So to have public schools have the 10 Commandments in every classroom feels like a direct violation of not just any amendment, but the first one. The very first one. You know, you hear a lot about the fact that the colonies revolted against England because of taxation without representation. And that's true. They said, we're out of here because you're taxing us and we're not being represented. And then when it came time for us to form a country, the reason why we left the last one didn't even make the cut for the First Amendment. What should we put as rule number 1? The whole tax thing? Let's hold off on that. Let's get this fucking religious thing out of control, under control. That's what we decided to do. And here we are in 2024, and we've got a governor signing into law the fact that you have to have the 10 Commandments up in every single classroom. And what's crazy about it, Governor Jeff Landry said, if you want to respect the rule of law, you got to start from the original law given, which was Moses. He got his commandments from God. So I don't know if Landry's fucking with us here and just being like, I know this is going to get busted, but let me just poke and prod people for a little while. or if he legitimately thinks this is a good idea and thinks it'll stick. Now, some people believe that it will or has a chance to stick, at least. Because I don't know if you remember, but there was a couple of years ago where a high school, I think it was a high school or college, it doesn't really matter, but a football coach would pray on he'd get his team together and he would say a prayer. And so they fired him. And it went all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court made the school give him his job back. And what they said was, which makes sense, even though it's prayer, the coach's prayer was private speech and it was protected by the First Amendment. Right? So if the coach says everybody get down and want to pray, I know it doesn't seem like it or seems a little weird or blurry, but that is distinctly different from putting the 10 Commandments in every single classroom, because if the coach decides he wants to pray and all the teams on board or not on board and they're just like, whatever, go pray, I don't give a shit, then fine. Then there's really no issue there. But to have kids walk in and have that be part of the doctrine of here's the 10 Commandments, I mean, if you can't see how wrong that is, I just don't know if I can help you. And I'm a Catholic, I went to Catholic grammar school. I went to a Catholic high school. I even went to a Catholic college all the way. And this is just wrong. To have one religion represented and not all of them is wrong. And I feel like most people should see that. Again, this is what I go back and talk about. We're devoid of leadership, and our leaders they've lost their way because they think, oh, my side needs to win or my ideology needs to reign supreme. That's not it. Your job is to represent everybody. I don't understand how you go and speak to a Jewish person with the 10 Commandments there. How do you go sell that to a Muslim or Sikh and say, yeah, isn't this great? The 10 Commandments? How do you speak to somebody who just he doesn't believe in God and say, no, but this is good, right? Listen, I know there's not a lot of people probably in Louisiana. This guy is a fucking churchgoer, man. I mean, this guy, he's from a small town in Louisiana. He's like a boy wonderkin down there in Louisiana. They fucking love this guy. He's from a little town, church, the whole fucking 9 yards. Nobody really kind of expected him to win. He won. It's a whole big thing. So they fucking love him. He celebrated his victory in church. Everybody went to church. Very big church guy, which is fine. That's fine. It's the pushing of your religion onto everybody else. This country wasn't founded with an official religion. We did that intentionally. I love these people that go, you want law? Here's law. This is the original law, or this is this, or this is that. Motherfucker, think, read. We formed this country so that there wouldn't be any sort of religious requirements. You could do whatever you want. You want to pray to a cell phone? Go ahead. Do it. You want to start a religion that says aliens came down and planted things and blah, 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 and now you could be in Top Gun too. You could do it. We all know it's fucking ridiculous, but we let it go on, right? Scientology exists. It's fucking there. And I understand you're religious. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're Catholic and you feel like everybody should be Catholic, it's okay to think that way. Don't say it. Don't say it out loud. If you're like, hey, this really works for me and I want to help other people and give it to them, then, you can say, you can try, you can offer, you can't require. You can't require. It's fucking batshit crazy. I really can't believe we are living in 2024 and we have people that are trying to get things across that is really part of the basis of why, you know, the pilgrims, like, oh, they left for religion, all of it. I mean, is it me? Did I miss something? Did I miss a chapter somewhere? Because it just seems like utter insanity. I mean, this is like, you know, I understand that Catholicism, the 10 Commandments, is very commonplace. I understand that a lot of people are Christian. I get that. I understand that in that area, in that state, there's a lot of Christian people, but it's not everybody. I mean, it's not. And I would ask the Christians, you know, simply, how would you feel if you passed the same law where some other religion, you know, let's say the people who worship Satan, how would you feel if we passed a law where the Satan commandments got posted? Well, that's ridiculous. It's Satan. Bullshit. Their shit is equal to yours. Yours isn't better because it's yours. And that's the problem with religion. Everybody thinks, oh, my religion's the right one. I believe in God. I believe in, you know, this or that. I believe in Buddha. Whatever you believe in, everybody's like, oh, my shit's right. And your shit's, you know, whatever. Your shit is either wrong or not for me or whatever it is. But it's all equal. You got to, it's all equal. That's the beauty of America. That's the beauty of America. And we have a governor in our country shitting on that and acting like, isn't this great? Isn't this wonderful? You know, I don't like picking on parties often, and I try and avoid it whenever I can. But every single day that I live, specifically in the last 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, my friends in the Republican Party continue to move further and further and further away from a set of standards that I can relate to. And I don't understand why this keeps happening and why the crazy part of the edge of the fringe of these parties keep getting such a big platform. I don't understand it. We all thought the internet was great until we realized, holy shit, every psychopath has a huge voice now. And then the other psychopaths like to follow the other psychopaths. And then they start to get really big. I don't get it. This is a little bit of a separate note, and I know it's not on our topics, but Andrew Tate, remember Andrew Tate? He got accused of harassing women, and he's one of these crazy, like, I'm a masculine guy, and like all this kind of shit, and all this stuff. And I don't follow this guy at all, but I was researching one of the trending topics today. And, Juneteenth. It's Juneteenth today. And so I that was trending, and I click on it and do my research, see what's going on. And Andrew Tate's tweet pops up, and he's using the N-word. I think he's like referring to himself now as the N-word. And he's like on this whole big crypto push. And it's like commonplace. Like it was in like 3 of his tweets. Because then I clicked on his profile. I'm like, am I missing something here? It's in 3 of his tweets. It's in a video he put up. He put up this video where he's walking around smoking a cigar in his house, talking about how he changed the world and he knows tomorrow's news today. So pay for his newsletter and find out the things before he puts them on Twitter. And like all this, this guy's got 8 million followers on Twitter. I don't know who these people are that are proud to call themselves a follower of Andrew Tate, but like, you got to be shitting me. I mean, you got to be shitting me. This guy's fucking crazy. And people are like, oh, this guy's making good points. I don't, I remember a long time ago, I'm going to keep this story very vague, but basically somebody I went to school with, white guy, used to use the N-word, and an older gentleman took him aside and said, if you continue to use that word, I'm going to take you to a neighborhood and I'm going to leave you there. And I'm going to make you use that word, or I'm going to tell everybody that you like to use that word, and I'm going to see how long you last. So I grew up in New York City. It was disrespectful to use that word. You didn't say that word around people. It's not right. It's not nice. I remember being in high school and having black people use that word and other black people getting into arguments over it, you know? So for a white person or a Spanish person, Latin person to use that word, I just remember being like, this, it's like I got to stay away from all of this. This is not for me. It's none of my business. The people seem very angry over this. I don't want to be a part of it. But I just that always stuck with me of like, oh, this person is so tough. They act so tough to throw this word around. But the teacher was right. You put him into that, you send that person up to Harlem or any neighborhood, they suddenly wouldn't say shit. And I kind of feel the same way about Andrew Tate. Like, all right, you're a big man with your social media following, but what if I put you in a room with a bunch of black people? Are you going to still throw that word around? I feel like people like that have isolated themselves so much in their little ivory towers that they lose touch with reality entirely. You know? Because it's like, I want to see you, you know, with most things, by the way, this isn't just racism. With most things, bigotry, you know, anti-Semitism, whatever it is, you put yourself in a room with that particular person, suddenly those people, they always cower. They always cower. So it's amazing to me that they continue to just drone on and on like that. I don't get it. I don't know if Tate's in jail right now, Miss Paul, but I know clearly he's out because he filmed this thing like the other day or yesterday. If you go to his Twitter, I'm not even going to link it, but if you're really curious to see it, he's got first of all, he looks like he's trying to turn into The Rock. You know when The Rock got the tattoo like on his like shoulder and all down his nipple and everything? He's got that thing going on. I mean, the whole thing seems fucking crazy. And, you know, I remember when we were looking at Andrew Tate not that long ago, somebody said to me like, oh, there's a lot of young men that follow this guy. I would fucking break my son's fingers if I ever caught him watching this asshole. Seriously. And I say that now, knowing that my son's not on Twitter or anything like that, but he's 6. I'm sure when he's 10 or 12, he's going to be on these things. If I caught him doing that then, I would break his fucking fingers. And that feeling would stay with me until the day I died. Up through his 50s, 60s, 70s. God bless me. Hopefully I live that long. I probably won't. Maybe until his 50s I'll be around. I would fucking break his fingers in his 50s if he was following an asshole like that. I mean, there's just no fucking way. There's just no way. And it kills me because I'm like, oh, this really shouldn't be up here. But at the same time, you know, it's a freedom of speech thing. You know? I keep going back and forth on whether or not Twitter is better in Elon's hands. And I believe it is because freedom of speech is important. But man, there's a hate speech thing there. Like you look at somebody like this guy, it's pretty fucking toxic. It's pretty fucking toxic. It breaks my heart to get into this little area and talk about this because the Babylon Bee today, which I love the Babylon Bee. If you're not familiar, Babylon Bee is like a spoof news site, you know, and all their headlines and articles are jokes. They got banned. Was it TikTok? I forget what they said it was. Oh no, Vimeo. They were on Vimeo. And they were doing the CEO of the Babylon Bee, which again is a comedy site. They were banned for something that was claimed to be hate speech. So the CEO, and it wasn't. He said what it was, and I forgot what it was. It was just a joke. CEO goes on Vimeo to do like a podcast or something, and it's on hate speech and what's hate speech and what's not, and that got banned. for hate speech. And he's like, we weren't even talking about it. There was no examples, but it was more like, the difference between a joke and actually like hurting somebody and wanting to cause harm to somebody. Like there's a difference there. And they flagged that and banned it. And again, I have a sensitivity to this because we, on this show, we get fucking banned and flagged all the time. We were off Facebook recently for like almost a month. We've lost our ability to go live on, that wasn't hate speech or anything like that. That was, but on TikTok, we put that video out on TikTok of the Boeing whistleblower and the mysterious, I went like this, the mysterious infection that got flagged and taken down. Do you know how dangerous that is? That's very dangerous, because when shit is really going wrong and people start talking about it, discussing it, for that to be, calmed down, and that's a very, very dangerous place to be. Very dangerous. We saw it in the election. Now listen, the Hunter Biden laptop and all this jazz and Russian disinformation and all that stuff, it was too tight of a time frame to get it all confirmed. It just was. I don't know if that would have made a difference or not in the election, but the truth of the matter is that was his laptop. And the fact that got killed so quickly on every social media platform is alarming. And I know what people are going to say, because the Democrats and the liberal people are going to be like, yeah, because your side won. But next time around, it could be the other side doing that same exact thing to keep something of theirs from getting out. And then you're not going to like it. That's why that kind of stuff has got to be across the board. Has got to be across the board. Period. End of sentence. So I don't know how they're going to handle this Andrew Tate thing, but I mean, I believe in free speech, but a little decorum. You still gotta be wary of hate speech. That's still part of it. DJ Shenanigans. Any woman who finds him attractive is a red flag. It's true, but as I like to say, and Jay Sabs loves to bring up too, women are broken. Some women are broken. All right. Some women like weird assholes just like that. Submit your cocktail idea for Friday's Blind Top 5. Thank you, Miss Justice, for posting the link in the live chat on YouTube. Whether you're watching on Spotify after the fact or you're watching live on Facebook, you can find the link for that at anthonyonair.com. Just go to our blog. We also just posted it recently, just earlier today. So it's fresh on our social media platforms. If you follow us anywhere, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all those places, we're everywhere. YouTube, we put it on the community section in YouTube, so it's there as well. Submit your cocktail. Like I said, it could be a real cocktail that you put a little twist on. Like, hey, I like to make my martinis this way, and here's my recipe. It could be as simple as that, or it could be, this is a basic, old-fashioned recipe, but I want to call it something that's themed with the show. Maybe it's after one of the hosts. Maybe it's after a fellow AOA hole. Maybe it's one of the themes or topics we've talked about, whatever it can be, whatever you want it to be. Submit it, make it funny, make it as funny as you possibly could. Erin C is going to go through all of them, and she's going to build a blind top 5 for us on Friday. Yes, if you can get in touch with him, Fly and Y, ask Justin Timberlake which drink he prefers. That would be great to have. We'll get Jay Sabs on that for sure. I don't have a lot on the last two topics. We'll just do it quickly here. George Santos has joined OnlyFans. If we're looking for the most pathetic person on the planet, it's George Santos. I've never seen a guy fall from grace faster, get expelled from Congress. He teased joining OnlyFans. Now he actually did join OnlyFans just to get the publicity in the press. And then he came out and said, there's not going to be any adult content on there. It's just going to be like, my stuff. And I'm like, who fucking cares? Now, you want to get back into that drag outfit, start doing dances again. Now I think we're going to start cashing some checks. Now I think we're going to start making some money. Nobody wants to see you fucking sitting there with your lawyers trying to figure out how to stay out of jail. But if you're going to shake that ass around a little bit, listen, you're going to have some people, maybe not me, Not that I wouldn't. I probably would for the show. But you're gonna have some fucking customers. Nobody wants to sit around watching you think up your next fucking lie. And the last thing. That's not the Simpsons money. Well, we don't have a thing for the last thing. Kanye's wife. She showed up with pink hair today. Usually she's like shaved head. Now she has this like long pink hair. And not that we need to come up with another excuse to realize that Kanye's a little off kilter, but she's looking more and more like Kim Kardashian, right? I mean, if anybody had a chance to look at her, she's looking a lot more like Kim Kardashian. And that's weird. Not that the last 17 things Kanye has done hasn't been a cause for concern. I'm just saying this is another thing to throw on the pile. I'm loving these new like emojis that are around. I see people using these new like cool emojis. I saw, was it Robin use one before? Paul? These are pretty cool. I mean, it's 2024. We need to be in a new emoji world. Enough with the old I mean, I like the old emojis. The classics should never go anywhere. But the newer ones, they got some style. They got some pizzazz. You know? DJ Shenanigan, I think, is going to submit the bird cocktail, sweet juice, and 37 shots of alcohol. I can go for that right now. I'm still on this cleanse. Sucks, dude. Sucks. I mean, I feel good. I mean, I feel really good. A lot of energy. But fuck, would I love a slice of pizza right now. I mean, I would love it. No coffee. I've had no coffee. I've had no chicken, meat, burritos, none of it. No wine, no alcohol. None of your old Lance little gummies, you know, special gummy helpers. You know what I'm saying? None of it. Absolutely none of it. I'm bringing sexy back. Yeah. What is this? A cat peeking out of a box? See, there's some cool shit. I think it might be broken though. What's happening here? Is this supposed to be like a thing? Paul, DJ Shenanigans? I don't know why these things are like coming up. Are these supposed to be emojis that aren't working? I don't know. Look at these. We got a heart with blue hands. We got a purple guy showing a shocked face. A little person doing that thing, whatever they call that fucking thing. Another cat coming out of a box. What's with the cat coming out of a box? It seems like a lot. Who's the emoji drawer that's like, we're going to get to all the other things. We got to there's a lot of cat. We got a lot of cat stuff right now we got to get to. A lot of cats coming out of boxes people are going to like. I'm telling you, these are going to be huge. Oh, see, I don't think some of these are working. Some of these are coming up as just words with colons. Oh, now these are working over here. Look at DJ Schnack. Got a YouTube link, a stop sign, a dude snapping his fingers. The loading circle. Fucking cool. That is fucking cool. The loading circle. Do you think that would look cool on a t-shirt? Just to have that exact thing? I don't know who came up with that. I don't know if emojis are fair play. I don't know if we could put that on a shirt without getting sued. But that's fucking cool. I kind of like that because everybody has that loading circle. You know? Everybody kind of instantly, like you put that on a, like there, it's instantly recognizable. You know exactly what it is. Farts loading. That's funny. That's pretty fucking funny. Oh, look at this. I'm liking all those, all these emojis. Look at this one. We got Shamrock, Green Heart, a Norwegian flag. No idea. It's a pretty flag, though. Nice flag. You know, I said loading. Is it buffering? I think Miss Justice is right. I think buffering is the more correct term there. Yeah. I'm going to give that one to you, Miss Justice. You're right about that. That's more of a buffering than a loading. Very correct. All right, get those cocktail selections in. Again, you can go get the link at the blog at anthonyonair.com. Oh, look at this one. Game over. Let's leave that up as we go. Bye, everybody.
Show me potato salad.
See you Friday.
Maybe we should go now.
Go ahead.